and the sun's going down like over Nashville, and I'm standing there, and I just start crying. And I remember saying to God, this was supposed to be my town. And like, there's been so much hurt and so much pain. I've had to put my family back together one time. Like, this was supposed to be mine, and I got gypped. I got ripped off. Like, you let me down. Like, just had a real, like, because I talk to God like a friend. I don't talk to God like, dear Heavenly Father. I talk to him like, hey, homie, I need you. You know what I mean? And I remember that night being pretty heated. Like, man, I know what you gave me, and this was supposed to be my place, and you let me down. And now, dude,
he's lifting you up, baby.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man.
Empathy's my jam, empathy's my jam, empathy's my jam, 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 jam. I'm Chad.
And I'm Tiffany. And this is Empathy Jam.
All right, let's get going. We got another episode of Empathy Jam. I got two of the closest people in my life, especially Jesse, James, Jervis, and Chris Flick on today. I'm so grateful for you guys to show up. And we were lucky enough to have a random gig last night. We've been putting this podcast off for a couple weeks, and Flick came up from Kentucky.
Yep.
But we billed that gig last night like it was Nashville, right?
Oh yeah.
And you know what? That worked. People came up and was like, "So
I know.
It's a
my stick.
We weren't lying.
Right? That's
No,
true.
we weren't. I worked there.
Yeah. So yeah. Flick is a super inspiring person to me, musician, friend. Us three have been kind of in contact for the last few years. You guys have gotten very close, touring the country, playing with different artists. Now you guys even play for different artists.
Yeah.
And then, so we're all kind of like a community. We come together like last night, randomly, no rehearsing, straight up we had a blast last night, which led into the podcast that we kind of got on schedule. So I appreciate you coming up.
Absolutely.
I'm going to shed a little light on you.
Do it.
Flick, amazing, more than a drummer, way more than a drummer, but just, dude, you messed me up last night. Just so many times I look at Jesse, I'm like, who is it? What is going on, And I play drums a little for fun, rattle around.
I play drums for fun too.
And I'm just like, how does, I'm just like, I'm just listening, and it was great. It was so much fun. And I'm going to brag on you a little bit.
All right.
So Flick's played with the likes of Drew Baldridge, which is like,
that's my main guy.
Yeah, millions of streams.
That's my dude.
He's a real deal.
Yeah.
Jared Mahone, which is on the podcast a couple of podcasts ago of Empathy Jam. Randy Hauser. Ooh, flex right there. Rain Johnson.
It was a fun one.
Kylie Fry, which Jesse also that's his main gig right now. Sarah Allison Turner, Heath Warren, Bailey Zimmerman, Bailey Luttrell, Little Texas, Lone Star. I didn't know that. Lee Greenwood, didn't know that. T. Graham Brown, Megan Patrick, Melissa Quinn Fox, Kelly Bells, Colleen McKenna, Lauren Black, know her.
She's great.
Yeah. Chris Garman.
Yeah.
Saying that right?
Yeah.
Matt Greer, Marty Evans, Taylor Lynn, Tyler J, Karen
right? Blackburn. Yep.
That's right. We're adding that on there. And the flex on my boy Jesse here. He's played with Tyler J as well, Drew Baldridge as well, Taylor Lynn, Kylie Fry's his main gig, Lauren Black, Cotter Hill, shout out Cotter, Cameron Blackburn, shout out Cam, Heath Warren, Bells,
Yeah. Kelly Bells.
Sarah Allison Turner, Gracie Shriver, which was on American Idol.
Yeah, she's great.
Dang. Sarah Faith, Kevin Ashba, and your boy.
And boy,
Yeah.
Chad Warren.
It's your boy.
Yeah.
Shout out Keith Warren real fast.
Yeah.
Cotter. I don't know. Did you say Cotter for him too?
He
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Well,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
he said Heath, because we've both been lucky enough to play with Heath, and he's got a number one with Bailey Zimmerman right now with Rockin' a Hard Place.
Yes.
That's a flex, and couldn't be a nicer human being.
Yeah, he was great.
I mean, just great dude, great artist in his own right, but having some serious success right now
Killing it.
in the writing world. So good on those guys.
Hell yeah, man. So I'm grateful for you guys showing up. We're kind of like pointing it towards Flick. I kind of had that. Me and Jesse are super close, so you're gonna see him a million times. He's like my ride or die dude.
I love that.
Yeah, boy.
And you guys got your own close relationship going on. All those tour dates you've done. What was you guys saying earlier? 60 days you've spent together on the
over
road?
30. Well, a bit more than that because we were in Vegas at the beginning of the year.
That's true.
We spent a third of the year together, I would say, easily.
Yeah, it was
Like-
it was great.
Like together in the same hotel room.
Same hotel room,
You know.
Yeah.
same bed. No, I'm just kidding. It was fantastic being
Yeah.
on the road with him.
Yeah.
And working for an artist like Kylie, mega talent. But he made it feel like home
Yeah.
when we weren't so close to home. So
Yeah.
Right back at you.
Well, thanks, man.
And Flick is like I view you like you champion people. Like I can feel that passion in you. Like you've called me before, like randomly, and just like not in an ingenuine way pumped me up, but just being like basically like I see you, bro, and you're growing and keep going.
Yeah,
and,
man.
And you do that. You did that for Jesse. You did that for me. Many people.
I want to be an encourager, because I've needed that in my career at several points.
Mhm.
Just for somebody to call and be like, "Hey, man, you're doing good stuff, and I'm watching and I'm liking it, and keep working."
Right, because sometimes if I can relate to that, I think about like a lot of times us as creative artists, musicians, whatever, it's like we're having this inner narrative that we're not good enough a big percentage of the time.
Oh, yeah.
And like to have a boy that's not in your mind to just say, hey, just keep doing what you're doing. You don't have to reinvent the wheel all the time. Just keep making another step. And you definitely given me a couple opportunities where I came to St. Louis. We did a few Cotter gigs.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like, that was actually Jesse pulling me into the situation. Like, Chad could do this. And then we played. We killed it. Did a good job.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden I get a call randomly from a manager that goes, hey, I got this artist, Eric Burgett, which I didn't mention Eric Burgett. Holy crap.
Oh,
It's a big deal that
dude,
Flick has played with.
love that dude.
And
Heading to San Diego with him in like 2 weeks.
yeah, and a great dude. And I know that firsthand because I spent 12 hours in the middle of the night driving with him.
Yeah.
Because I got this call from Eric's manager.
Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a great conversation with him on the way.
Awesome dude.
To this gig, and it was to open up for Lee Bryce, which has been the biggest gig I've done so far, and I had like 5 days to prepare. I was crying about it and calling for support from both of you guys. I'm like, oh, I can't do this, and it kind of goes something like this from Flick. He'll be like, you're fine. I wouldn't have recommended you if I don't think you can do it.
Yeah,
you're
that's the truth.
fine. So I got to, play a sweet gig, get on a bus with people I don't know. Didn't even get to rehearse with them.
Yeah.
I only got to play the show. Made some good friends. Everybody passed out on the way home. Me and Eric, like I could tell, he's a hard worker, man. He is
works
like
his
he's
tail
a
off.
real farm dude.
Absolutely.
Like he's a real dude.
Yeah.
And I know part of that, he's even told me, is like his dad's hard work is kind of instilled that in him. And we just was like, I could tell he was tired. I'm like,
Sure.
bro, I'll take over. And
Yeah.
he was like, he's the type that's like, I want to do it all.
Yeah.
But he was like, are you sure? I'm like,
Yeah.
yes. And we trade. He would sleep for 2 hours. I would drive. But in the meantime, when we traded back, we got to talking. and just talking about our lives. Like we're like this kind of where the Empathy Jam podcast is born from.
Sure.
Of just like, how can we be ourselves, share ourselves, our own experience, and that be enough.
Right.
People get what they, we don't have to strategize how inspiring or impactful we necessarily are.
Sure.
That shit don't really usually work anyway.
Right.
And it's just like showing up. That's what we're doing today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to pick your brain over some of your stories.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that's what's up. So
Legit. Love it.
yeah.
Love
So
it.
I was just saying I appreciate any opportunity you've given both of us, and it's led to
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well,
to more.
And here's the deal about, I have people call me all the time, put a band together, or I need a guy, or, I'm never going to send someone out that's going to make me look bad.
Yeah.
Got a pretty good reputation in Nashville and
You do.
in the industry, and
Yeah.
so I'm not ever going to send anybody out that I don't believe in. And yeah, if I can be the encourager, and if I could push a homie or a guy I believe in off the cliff, get ready, because you're about to fall, because I'm going to make
You
it
kind
happen.
of love it,
I
don't you?
enjoy it thoroughly. Yeah.
He loves when you're shaking your boots a little bit. And Flick's like, he's not like quiet. Like he like
Oh no.
he
No.
he shoots straight to the point. Some of your
I do.
Facebook posts got me like, dang, he's
Yeah.
going in.
Look,
today.
suck it up, because here it comes.
Right.
Like, no, I just, people that I strongly believe in that maybe hasn't gotten their shot yet, it's on. If I get the chance to push you into the pool,
Yeah.
I'm pushing you into the pool.
It's the
So,
best. Yeah.
yeah.
So can you get into, like, I know a little bit about your story and,
Yeah.
and like the struggle and the ups and downs, and like,
Oh yeah.
and although we don't have to go back to the beginning of your drumming,
Sure.
but,
Yeah.
but like, I know you grew up in the church.
Did. Yeah. Giant 4,000 member Pentecostal church.
Yeah.
It was incredible. I mean, that is where the sauce comes from.
All right. Side note, we got to get those P's under control,
Oh,
or I'm gonna have to edit a lot.
do I have peas?
You're like, you're
Oh,
beatboxing.
crap.
Just tilt the mic out a little bit. more.
Yeah.
Damn, that was bitchy and weird.
No. It was make it. Yeah. Is that better?
Yeah,
Better?
right there.
Perfect. Okay,
That's
cool.
so much
Yeah.
better.
Holy crap! I didn't mean
Dude,
to do
you're
that.
good.
No, I'm just putting it. I know I'll have to like.
I thought you've been to a fucking studio before.
Wow. Well, not vocally.
Dude, you could though. That's a whole nother subject.
I'm just kidding.
So, just recap on, like, I know you had like a hiatus similar to Jesse,
Yeah.
and how what kind of happens. Maybe skim over some of that, some of your struggles and your relationships,
Sure.
kids, whatever you want to share.
Wow.
You're like, damn, why you got to open all that up?
No. I mean, it's just wow. It's a lot, and I'm trying to squeeze this into a little nugget of what I want to say, I guess. Yeah, I grew up in a giant Pentecostal church,
Mhm.
and it was fantastic. The music was just unreal. And that's where a lot of my sauce or feel or whatever comes from, or I attribute it to that. Because I do have some formal training, but all the good stuff comes from being on church. And it wasn't one of those things where, there's an hour-long Sunday morning service. This is a Pentecostal church, man. So there's a 2.5 hour, 3 hour morning service, and then you go to lunch, and you go home and take a nap, and then you go back that night again. So I was playing all the time. 2 services on Sunday, choir rehearsal on Monday, youth service on Wednesday night. So you're just playing constantly,
Yeah,
gospel stuff.
So you're cutting your teeth. At the same time, are you like gigging with other people like Jared or like?
So I started playing at the church when I was like 12 or 13. Started taking lessons when I was 5. Started playing in the church at 12 or 13. At 15, I got hired by a guy named Rob Novell, who owned a recording studio in Cincinnati. Also went to the church. Him and his dad huge inspirations to me. And he was like, hey, can you come? This is back in the day when it was like a full package deal. Like, artists would come in, we would like record them, mix them, dupe all the CDs, shrink wrap the CDs. Like, I mean, it was a one-stop shop for like gospel projects, specifically like Southern gospel projects and radio spots and stuff like that. And so when I was growing up, like young, like it was all the Carter Beauford and all that, and it was just like, oh my God, this guy's like blazing fast, and he's playing all. There was no percussion on those Dave tracks because he was playing everything by himself. So I thought that was the way to play drums. I thought that was the coolest way to play drums. And I remember being 15, and I was in a session, like a Southern gospel session for Rob, and Rob, we get into this song, and he cuts me off at the chorus. And I'm like, oh, did I do something wrong? And he's like, I need you to stop playing like that. And I need you to play drums as simple and as dumb as you think you can play them. He goes, and if you do that, I'll pay you at the end of the day. And so, like, it was at 15 where my whole approach to drumming just got shot to shit, for lack of a better term. Because somebody had put me in my place. Because everybody had always kissed my butt at church of how good a drummer I was.
Right.
And then now all of a sudden, a producer who had giant bass player in the industry, and his dad, I mean, played for the Blackwell Brothers, who morphed into the Stamps, who sang background for Elvis. So I mean, just industry heavy guys. Right.
And what was that like for you? Like when you get that? Because me and Jesse many times have talked about, like, you know, you always had that moment, and it hurts as a young musician where somebody's got to call you out, and usually musicians aren't the best communicators, so it even hurts a little more because it's just straight. It's straight, or it's after it's been built up, and it's like this big. And
I haven't met a artist musician that doesn't wear their heart on their sleeve. Yeah. You know what I mean? So when somebody, presses that for the first time, it's a real shock, but then you're like, okay, I want to do this for a living. This guy's obviously doing it for a living, and he knows what he's doing, and he's been in the industry for, at that time, 20 years. Yeah. Like, maybe I should listen. Yeah. And
so just for even like the younger musician, or it doesn't matter if you're younger, if you just haven't had your heart hurt, like it's for a good, like we talk about, your, like Billy would do that, your older brother would, I mean, I had a guy, my buddy Jeff, that I grew up with writing songs with, and he had a real way of just being like, just on me, but it's so, oh man, that lives with you forever, because it actually is. It's funny, on the phone when me and you were talking, you were like, I don't know how much of an empath. That's what you said, empath. I've only heard it said empath, but you're like, I don't know how much of an empath I am, but if you think I got something to share, I'm like, yes, you do. But here's the thing is like playing music, it literally is all of us putting each other in each other's shoes the whole time.
Oh, absolutely.
And being like, am I stepping on, we were playing last night, and we step on each other's toes all the time, whatever.
Well, in a 4-hour set, it's hard not to do, because
right. And that's not like, we're not trying to like professional, we're having a blast.
It's not a session. It's not a built show.
Yeah. But we are trying to connect for sure. But there's
absolutely.
I remember one specific time last night. We do this all the time. Like, my bad. I went out, or I came in when you were setting us up in a good groove, and I was like, my bad. Like, sometimes you got to take that risk. Yeah. But I guess I've never even thought about that. That actually, when there's a certain amount of care that you have for each other when you're playing, and actually the people that get on our nerves and you don't want to play with anymore is the ones that don't care, or at least, and that's a judgment too. At least their actions don't show that they care.
Right. You can feel it.
Right.
You can totally feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
And it's like, anyways, just being in music and being in a relationship together it's complicated. It's a real deal. It can be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're around musicians that are worth their salt, any one of you could be a producer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just got done producing my first record a couple weeks ago for a great buddy of mine in Charlotte, but I love the way he thinks about music. I love the way you think about music.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can all produce. We all have an idea of what the music should sound like in our head.
And we all have to find our little roles in different scenarios, which even us three, although I haven't played with you guys as much as you guys have played, but like, I know when you hired me for Cotter's gig.
Yeah.
You're the MD. I care everything about what you say. If you give me one correction, I'm not over here like, no, I think it should. I'm like,
no, because
I'm so grateful. I'm like, yeah, oh yeah, I'll stay out there. They're cool.
I hope that anything that I would say, from a musical standpoint, if I'm MDing a gig, I hope anything would come from a point of love. You know what I mean? Just to, I'm trying to make us as a team sound better. Not just you. Just try this. See what we. Go to the 4 or
8 notes.
Check your tone. 8 notes.
Check your tone. Your tone sucks, bro. You need to check your tone.
Dude.
Or try different, like go clean or whatever.
Yeah,
until especially if I'm in charge, like I'll give you a couple lovingly, and then it's like you said, I'm real loud. Then I'll be like, don't do that anymore.
Dude, small story about that. We were in Vegas last year. We played till like 2 a.m, which is 5 a.m. here. And just to touch on that, last song of the night, some Luke Combs song. And I'm so tired and exhausted, and I'm flubbing the whole night. And at the last note, everyone's at the 1, and I'm at the 4. And I
He rocks that 4. At that 4 was so much confidence.
It was awful, and literally everyone looked at me, and I swear I heard someone go, Jesus Christ. Like, I mean,
it was Patty Ice.
I love you, Patty. But it broke me. I was just like,
they weren't looking for that harmony.
no,
right?
no. I just had a moment, and I was like, and literally I could have quit that night. But you were sweet. You were like, bro, who cares? You're fine. I'm just like,
we all had that moment. I mean, I had that moment with Eric. I started a song a half step off. The worst thing you can possibly do, where the singer comes in and is off key because of me.
I mean, well, yeah. Let's just so we've all had one this year.
Yeah.
When we did that big Baldur's and Bonfires tour date up in Drew's hometown, Patoka. I mean, had everybody come in, thousands of people there. Like it's his album release.
We're good.
And I hit the show, and there's like a pre-roll on it, and then we come like halfway through the show opener, and I play this fill and get into it, and as soon as I hit the one of the cymbals, we weren't on a redundant rig, and Ableton freaked out because we had a bad USB port, and I didn't know it because it was fine during sound check, and Ableton stopped.
Oh man.
So Jesse Tucker's looking back at me, and he's like, I got nothing. Devo's looking at me. I got nothing. Drew's looking at me. And I'm like, just play it, and I'll try to fix it on the next song. So we get done with the tune. And I'm looking at Drew, and I'm just going, talk. And trying to fix it.
Right.
And thank God Brian Betts, another drummer, buddy of mine, was there. Ableton Whiz hops up on stage.
Oh my gosh.
Stogie, smoking a stogie, and he's up there just like
fixing it.
Dude,
yeah,
you want
stud.
to talk about, like, I don't know what you call this, but those moments being creatives or musicians when you're on stage, there's some type of perseverance that you have to have.
Oh, 100%.
Because you don't get to be like, never mind.
Oh, yeah.
This is too scary. This hurts.
Yeah.
I'm done. Like, you just don't.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're like hired and or say, let's use Kylie for example. Like, you got to support the important person.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
in that situation, that's what I mean by we all find each other's roles. Like when you hire me for Cotter,
Yeah.
you're the boss. Last night it's a little different because I'm leading it a little more.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like we all fall.
There's a pecking order.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like when
for
you're working
sure.
professionally.
Or like because me and you have played all those songs the most,
yeah.
then you might clue Flick or somebody.
Yeah,
in.
right. He was calling stuff
He
last night.
totally was. Dude.
He was calling changes for me. I'm like,
dude.
thanks, bro. I need that.
You
That's
really
awesome.
are like a badass. Like
Well,
you're like a master at what you do.
Well,
And it's way more than drumming. Like your drumming is just incredible alone.
Oh, I appreciate that.
But like your charisma, you have like a I don't know, like a role model thing. Like you're safe. That's what it is. You're somebody that's how I felt last night. Like I was even though you never played one. No, you've played 2 of those songs with me personally.
Right.
But like
Yeah.
other than that, we did what 40 or 30 songs,
Easily.
probably 30 songs.
Yeah.
And I felt
I'm never gonna hurt you.
I felt so
Yeah.
safe when a transition would come. I didn't have to be like right here. I would like side eye you, and you're like,
And that's
you just
that's so church.
yeah,
Like going on the fly.
right.
You're listening.
Yeah, yeah.
It's even
and-
like it's like more than listening though. It's like an intuition of what we've talked about this a million times. Like it's like checking the temperature in the room, what's been going on. Like it all relates of like how we're gonna do this. We're not gonna just blast this thing if it doesn't make sense with the temperature in the room
Sure.
and with
Well,
the
and that's,
musicians that
you
we're
know,
playing with. Like there's
I'm roughly 1,000 years older than both of you too. So
Maybe 2000. Dude, the truth is, it's on the drums. I feel like we're gassing you up, but
no, we have to
but, like,
because it's true.
but it's on the drums. But what I learned, like my first gig with him, it was off the drums. You know, we do sound check, blah blah blah, and then he's like, "Come with me." I'm like, "Okay," and he takes me to the front of house tent. He's like, we got to say what up to these guys, and like, you know, and I was like,
relationships.
you know, and I was just like,
Yeah.
it clicked for me right there. He goes in there, "What's up? You know, feels good." Just
That's-
giving the love,
yeah.
and I could see it on their face, like, "Oh, I like this dude," and yeah, I'm standing next to him, so it's like, I was like, "Oh, this is the energy." It clicked, like. That's how you stay working.
yeah.
Because obviously
Okay.
everyone can play.
Yeah,
But
and that's how you fast tracked your way.
I picked up on those
100%.
things.
Yeah, and also I will say, you when we first started hanging out and stuff, like you fast tracked my way of how to be around people that you admire, that you feel like are on this the way higher level than you, and you still carry yourself with confidence. You almost like. I don't want to say serve that person, but you find interest and you don't got to tell that person on how much you do or know. Like
Yeah.
that's literally about the opposite of what you do.
Yeah.
And I feel like you can tell me if you think this is true, that a lot of your experience and being with Louis Vito,
Sure.
which is a Olympic snowboarder from this town, that's one of Jesse's very more than best friend, like family.
Family, yeah.
And I remember the first time you took me out snowboarding and I got to be around Louis. I was just
yeah.
you know, like
There's a lot of hype and
but
stuff.
there's a lot the way you've clued us in and kind of you bring somebody from one level and give them your experience and they can you uplift each other, and all of a sudden you get to skip steps by seeing how other people carry themselves. And it's not an ingenuine thing. It's more like, no, it's literally being yourself, knowing a few things, what maybe not to do.
And I can tell you just from experience, and Swerve knows it now, and you know, I have yet to meet or play with a quote unquote famous person that isn't just a normal person.
Sure.
And they hate when somebody walks on their bus or somebody, you know, is in catering or something like that and they're acting weird or wormy because they think they're around a famous person. Just be real.
That's what he taught me with Louis, like for
Absolutely.
sure.
Like you don't have to prove to them that you're cool. You just being there and being normal and cool around them,
and treating them like they're normal.
100%.
Yeah.
They will automatically just be like, oh, this guy's cool. All right. Like he's not trying to get anything from me. You know, he's just here to do his job, and we're going to sit down in catering and have a great meal and or whatever.
Yeah. So,
And then that's how you get invited on other buses.
Sure.
and stuff like that. I mean, we had that experience with the Cody Johnson boys this year.
Yeah, they're sweet.
Just all those guys are.
LV's crew was.
LV Shane's crew.
Literally everyone that we were out.
Easton Corbin's crew.
Yeah.
Just be real, be authentic, and
and deliver too. You got to deliver on what you do.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that better be a given, right?
You can't call yourself a professional at anything if you don't deliver.
Right, for sure.
So
you mentioned you were like, "Oh, I'm so much older than you." You're not that much older than me. Maybe
I'll be 42 in July.
42, so that's 6 years older.
Yeah.
How old are you again? 31.
I'm like 20 something.
I mean, my
32.
son graduates high school next year. My oldest son.
Bro, my son just got his license. He's driving around.
Scary proposition, man.
Freaking out. So, because you mentioned that age thing, it makes me think of your story on. You had like a break in music, right?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Or was it related to what was going on in your relationships and
no,
home
not,
and stuff, or what?
Not necessarily. I mean, Jared Mahone out of Columbus, who's like my brother. We were, fairly successful in that scene. And I just had Miles, who will graduate next year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working, once we had Miles, I wasn't like full-time into music, and there came a point in time where my wife at the time was like, music's not the thing. My ex-wife, family members, I mean, multiple people were like, okay, it's time to grow up.
Yeah.
Peter Pan.
Yeah.
And so I got a job as an auditor working in a warehouse. Was there for 10 years.
Sounds super fulfilling.
It filled my bucket, let me tell you. I would occasionally play at church. But
and had you bought into that narrative?
Oh, 100.
Obviously.
I mean, 100%. I knew what I was doing I wasn't supposed to be doing. Like, I knew I should be playing music, but I'm like, well, maybe this is real life. This is, you had your shot. It didn't work out. So now you got to be the best dad and husband and take care of business. And I'm like, okay, you come to grips with it, and
Bro, you sharing that right now is hitting somebody so in their chest.
Well, I mean, the story gets better.
Yeah. I wasn't sure how much you're gonna go, but let's go.
It gets dirty, man.
All the way.
And yeah, screw it. My ex-wife was very successful in the business world, like very successful. Made a ton of money. Just kept going up and up and up and up and up in the ranks, and it's funny how money can change a person. And I watched it change a person that I loved, my best friend at the time. I watched it change them for the worse, and there were some problems, and we actually ended up moving to Chicago for a couple years to kind of leave one problem. And then in Chicago, it kind of reared its ugly head again. Ended up getting divorced. Moved back to Cincinnati. I'm from Cincinnati originally, if we hadn't said that.
Yeah.
And I found a really soft space to land at a church called Four Corners. They put me on staff. I was helping them with their music. I was being their creative director. Just incredible people. And I needed that I just need to be loved on for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, man, that was rough.
Oh, dude.
But I was getting to be creative. Like, all their videos, all their web content, social media stuff, music stuff, and it was like, oh man, this is cool. So worked there for about 2 years, and then the Rain Johnson.
Nice.
And Rain and I had been friends since birth. Like his parents were in my parents' wedding, and vice versa. Like kind of crazy.
So cool.
And Rain had grown up at that church as well. And his mom could straight peel the paint off the walls. Her voice. I'll get you some old records of Rain's mom singing because she was a gospel singer. And he called me, and it was funny. I was on the golf course with my dad, and he called, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm playing golf with Dad."
But were you guys like, you guys were buddies, or like how?
Oh yeah.
How close were you? Just like seeing each other in church, and
well, we had since I'd moved to Chicago, we had kind of lost touch, because he had a wife and 3 boys of his own, and this budding musical career, and but I hadn't been playing drums for him because I was in Chicago, and working at the church, so I was, I didn't have anything to do with him kind of coming up through the ranks, and he called me, and he was like, "Man, I'm I'm singing in the studio," and he's like, "I'm trying to figure out this harmony line." He's like, "Can you sing it to me?" And I'm like, "Well, let me get off the golf course and go home." And I went and sat by the piano and sang the harmony part in like a voice note. Sent it to him. He's like, "God, I love you. That's perfect. Thank you." And he was like, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow?" And I was like, "I don't have anything planned." He's like, "Can you stop by the studio? The studio is in Loveland outside of Cincinnati." And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I show up at the studio, and there's a drum kit set up at the studio already. And I'm like, "Oh, I see what's going on here. Like, need some tracks. Cool." And his management and everybody was there, his producer, Mark Liggett. And he was like, "Can you play with a click track?" I'm like, "Well, does bear shit in the woods?" Yeah. Like, don't ask stupid questions. And he's like, I'm like, "Just spin it. I'll go play." So I put the cans on, play. They're going slow.
Are you nervous right now, or are you just like, you're just like, whatever? What's
I don't have anything to prove to anybody.
Yeah.
As far as music is concerned, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know what God gave me. I know the ability I have, and I know how I make stuff feel. So I don't have to prove anything to anybody. So yeah, play with a click. Back and forth, slow, fast, blah, 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 all the stuff. He put a new track on that they had been working on, and I played along with that. When he hits the talk back, he's like, "Can you come in here?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Do you want to play drums for Rain? Do you want, like, here's the pay, here's the everything, blah, 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 here's what we got on tap." And, end up working on, a top 40, I think front seat pegged out at like 33.
That's awesome.
And then they had brought the rest of the guys in the band were coming up from Nashville. Chris Chirka, Stephen Guy, Sky White was playing piano. Just players, man. And all 10, 15 years younger than me. And it was just like, these guys know what's up. They took a shine to me for whatever reason and started inviting me to Nashville to go down and play with them. And they stopped at some guitar place in Nashville. We were doing just like a label show for Rain down in Nashville. I stopped at a guitar shop with the guitar players in Rain's band. I'm walking out of the shop, and Donnie Reese is walking into the shop. Donnie Reese, longtime friend from Cincinnati, and I'm like, "Why are you here?" And he's like, "Oh, I live here now." He's like, "Call me when you get done." So we go and play the showcase.
Yeah.
And then I called Donnie. I'm like, hey, bud. He's like, here's my address. Just come to the house up in Goodlettsville. So I pull up to this, like, palatial estate. And I'm like, would you, like, rob a Taco Bell? Like, what is this? And he's like, I opened up a studio. He's like, get in the car. Let's go check it out. I'm like, cool. We drive down to the east side, roll into this $1 million studio. And he's like, you want a job? And I'm like, yup. And he's like, yup. Congratulations, you're my MD. And the whole time, like, this whole thing with Rain and Donnie happens within, like, a probably 3-month window.
Wow.
Here's the kicker. Here's the this is how good God is. Sorry, I might have cussed on this a couple times, but this is how good God is. I can remember being in Chicago, and I can remember praying one night. I was at the house by myself. She was gone. And I think the kids were all staying somewhere else at the time. And I remember I humbled myself and, like, got down on my knees next to my bed and was like, God, I know that you gave me this talent and this ability, and I'm just sitting on it. I'm wasting it, and I'm miserable. Please remove anything from my life that is hindering me from using what you gave me. And within 6 months, I was divorced, and within 3 years, I was full-time in Nashville.
It's pretty...
Willies, dude. The hair on my arms are standing up right now.
Yeah, dude. Me too.
You told me a story once. We were outside of Nashville, passing a
the hotel, the Dreary Inn in Franklin.
I like that. Yeah, that was a cool. When you told me that, I was like, I don't know if you want to share that, but I was just that was a cool moment.
So my oldest son Miles was an incredible hockey player. We used to travel all the time. We played in traveling teams. We were on this travel team in Chicago. We're playing a tournament in Nashville. And we're staying at this very nice hotel down in Franklin, the Dreary Inn, which is, like, giant. It's right off the exit off 65. And I can remember I was in the room by myself for whatever reason. And we were up high, like probably 25th floor or something like that. And the way our room was situated, it was facing downtown Nashville, and we were high enough where you could still see, like, the Batman building and all that stuff, and the sun's going down, like, over Nashville, and I'm standing there, and I just start crying. And I remember saying to God, this was supposed to be my town. And, like, there's been so much hurt and so much pain. I've had to put my family back together one time. Like, this was supposed to be mine, and I got gypped. I got ripped off. Like, you let me down. Like, just had a real, like, because I talk to God like a friend. I don't talk to God like, dear Heavenly Father. I talk to him like, hey, homie, I need you. You know what I mean? And I remember that night being pretty heated. Like, man, I know what you gave me, and this was supposed to be my place, and you let me down. And now, dude,
he's lifting you up, baby.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. Now, I just remember because we stay with Cotter when Cotter had the apartment in Franklin, roughly a block away from that hotel. And I used to remember sitting on Cotter's the back deck, and you could see that hotel. And I would look at it and be like, God's like, oh, you thought I forgot you.
Jeez, bro, like,
heavy.
To make me cry over here. I'm not even joking.
Oh,
dude.
you thought I had forgot you. My hand was on you the whole time. I just had to move some puzzle pieces around, dude.
Bro, I've had this experience, like, this touches me so deep because, like, I've been at music for my whole life, you know, and I know a lot of it's not a unique story. Like, most of us are like that.
Sure.
We've been working this thing for a long time. We had a lot of times where you feel like you should give up, or I've definitely had those moments like you're talking about, where the narrative tells me that, like, this is a hobby and it's just a little fun thing, And it's fine if you put. I mean, me and you've had that conversation a million times. I mean, it sometimes still comes up where it's like, man, I don't know what but you sharing that thing of like I've had moments, and I've never actually told anybody this, but I've had moments where it's hard for me to watch something great, and it's not because I'm jealous. It's that it hits a part in me that breaks me down to tears because I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Sure, absolutely.
And just
absolutely. And that's not something we've all been that. I've all watched homies, The kicker is how you handle when you know people that are just like jerks or less deserving get this praise and notoriety and playing all, you know what I mean? Like the guys that intentionally tear down other musicians.
Yeah.
That get the shows or get, these big venues or, whatever.
They get to do the shortcut thing. But
they do.
But we know down deep that stuff is just, it's coming. It's coming for you. 100%. When you don't really deal
right
with whatever is going on with you, and this can be in so many other
I have found in my old age and in my very young musical career that as your appreciation increases, so do the venues and artists. And the more you appreciate, don't despise humble beginnings. That's what the Bible says. The more you appreciate the small gigs, and then, oh man, I'm just so thankful for my boys, and I'm thankful for music, and I'm thankful for this gift. And then, then the club. Oh man, man, look at this. This is all. This club's great. This club has great sound. I'm working with my homies. Oh man, look at this theater. Mm-hmm. Oh man, look at this arena.
Yeah.
As your appreciation goes up.
And Flick ain't joking about the arena thing. Jesse and Flick did some arena.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
That's Swerve's. We got a good story from that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of that's the rough cliff notes of my life.
And I just want to point out this part that, like, if anybody else is resonating or relating to this type of story, this type of pain.
Oh my gosh, like, please.
Yeah. Like when you're in your lowest spot, if you just stay there, keep stepping, you never know when it switches. And somehow that like, I mean, what do you call that? A freaking miracle
that's good preaching. No, I
like, you were broken. You had to be kind of broken.
I had to be broken,
and that
because had it happened young, I wouldn't have appreciated it.
Right.
Yeah, I had to be broken down to my lowest common denominator. So now I am so full of gratitude, and I appreciate it so much. Anybody can walk out on the Opry stage at 22 because they're pretty and a record label sign them off TikTok, and you don't know how hard I had to work to get there, and you don't know how many people told me I couldn't. I wouldn't have appreciated it at 22 like I do now. So take it for what it's worth. But I mean, please, like, reach out, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. If you're struggling, or you need encouragement, or you want to quit, if you've been cheated on, I told God a long time ago, I'm like, if you'll get me through this, send me every guy who's been cheated on and lost, quote unquote, lost his family, and I'll help them get through it like you've helped me. And man, he has. Yeah, but anyways, back to like music and I'm sorry, I'm like,
no, that's what's up. That is what I know. One of my purposes here, and especially with the Empathy Jam podcast, is like, this is what's up. Like, like men sharing emotions and what it's really like.
Oh yeah,
because it's just like we have all these things that you talking about us like lifting him up, like bragging on him, which all of it's true, and it's easy to obviously it's the cliche. We see everybody's best parts and all the cool shit they're doing.
Sure.
All blah blah blah.
Instagram and Facebook are
Instagram.
fake.
Yeah.
They're so fake.
But we're here to be like, hey, we're not none of us are perfect, and we're here. We're willing to show up, and you're willing to be that
Oh,
vulnerable, which I did not expect. You got me,
dude, I have zero to hide. Like, just
I was gonna say I watched a really cool John Mayer interview that touches on this, and they're asking like, "How's it?" Speaking about playing the arenas and all. I mean, the gig doesn't get any better than John Mayer's gig in my mind.
sure.
And I remember a few years ago, and we've talked about this. He talked about like, hey, someone's like, "How is it on the road?" And he's like, "Yeah, there's a lot of nights at 2 a.m. where I gotta make phone calls and check on other artists that are out because it's lonely and it's hard."
Sure.
And like, that's to me, that's the top. It's to be
Oh,
him.
It's the best job in the world, but it's still a job.
Yeah,
Make no mistake about it.
And that's so relatable. And
Yeah.
and I think that's what's probably kept him going, is to have a circle of friends that you can call and be like, "I'm struggling. This is hard. I miss my wife and kids. I miss my life.
Yeah,
And I'm stuck in this little capsule driving or sleep."
Sure.
yeah. And even a step further is that the more notoriety you get, the more you're susceptible to even more loneliness.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because like people, I experience this, and I ain't even anyone, but sometimes people are like, "Dude, you like how hard is playing guitar? Like you got like you're killing it," and I'm just like it's based on my point is I know John has talked about this is like nobody wants to hear about John Mayer's bad day.
No.
Sure.
Nobody wants to give John Mayer empathy.
Right.
They're like,
yeah.
they're like, bro, you know.
You got the world by
Right.
a string.
But the fact is, the truth is, so I hear, is that nobody's superhuman. We're all having these waves. And you never know if you're that good wave is actually a bad wave. And you never know if the bad wave that's seemingly bad is turning into something beautiful. Like you
Well, I'm gonna tell you one thing, that it should have been the first thing I mentioned, and all three of us are lucky enough to have it. Encouraging spouses.
Oh God.
That's true.
Bro, when you have a woman in your life,
Jesus.
when God puts a woman, when God puts an encouraging woman in your life who believes in you and actively encourages you, game changer.
Unstoppable.
You 10 feet tall and bulletproof.
Dude.
Dude.
And that's what I have in Kristen.
Yeah.
I know you boys.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
whew.
Yeah, actually, that's part of me. Me and Jesse, we talked every day for
We got 10,000 hours of talking with each other.
Professional talkers.
For
literally
real.
talk to each other and kind of
all
like
day.
each other's therapy. And
We still do.
yeah, we still do.
really
and,
do.
And a lot of that was, we got to check each other on the appreciation of what we have at home, our wives, and that they're willing.
Oh.
They're willing and they're there for us, and they do believe in us. Like that's
Sure.
that's a huge thing.
And I got to give it up to my kids too,
Yeah.
because after me,
kids don't think about the logistics and what the social. They're like,
no,
you got it."
after me and their mom split up, Ohio was very pro mom, but my kids understand what I do, and my kids understand that if you're passionate about something and you have talent, and God gave you an ability to do something, that you got to run after it and you got to do it. So I might not make every baseball game, but I'm gonna make as many as I can.
And it's gonna be quality when you are there,
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
which could be taken into every situation, including music. Of like,
Oh yeah.
even in notes, baby.
Yep.
Quality of notes versus quantity.
Quality, not quantity.
Right.
I just try to play all the notes. That's the move.
Yeah, you do. You totally do, especially in rehearsal and stuff.
Twice.
Like Kevin be like, is Jesse gonna play?
Really?
Is he gonna play all those notes?
Yeah,
I'm like,
all
no,
of them.
he's
Jazz.
just
I'm gonna call Kevin out right now.
He's working.
Listen, we did this rehearsal once. and I love you, Kev, but you were on Chad a little bit about some like
He was riding.
he was listening, because it matters with his piano.
Yeah,
and
we're all producers.
I get it, but he was riding you a little bit, and so in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna play every note and see if I get like told like, bro,
You would do that.
and he never did until the car ride home. He was like, "Yo, is he gonna do that?" And Chad's like, "No, he was just." It was fun.
That's
I love
funny.
you, Kev.
That's funny.
That's my way of having fun.
It's like me and Kev's relationship. Like, we're pretty close, so he don't mind at all correcting my 7 chord that I was playing the same 7 chord as him anyway. They're like, that I don't like that. I'm like, well, my heart was hurt. I was like, okay,
We love you, Kevin.
I'll
This
just
is
play
like-
vanilla. I'll just play that vanilla major.
bro.
Yeah,
And
it
Kevin
is.
kills it. He's a freaking.
Kevin's amazing.
He's a songwriting
I
machine.
thoroughly enjoyed playing with Kevin.
Whenever you have heard very little of his music,
Yeah.
but whenever Kevin's music comes out, it's bad. It is bad.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed being around that guy last night.
Yeah, we had
We were killing.
last night was serendipitous, man.
Man, it was-
like,
it was
thing is
great.
that gig showed up through Jesse's contacts, and he's like, "Hey, you wanna do this thing?" And I got a thing about gigging the last few years. Like, I try to pick what's meaningful
Sure,
in some
absolutely.
way, not based off money, although that needs to happen too.
Right.
But
Yeah.
with my whole story and stuff, just like I can't be grinding out 5 days a week in a bar or something like that. I just can't.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
But that shows up, and I'm like, bro, if we could get Flick on that and us play,
And as soon as he called, and
then the next day we podcast.
as soon as he called and told me to line up, and then I'm like, well, yeah, because we can do the podcast
Yeah.
too.
It made
Yeah.
too much
And it was
sense.
like no break because I had planned to be off this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm flying to Dallas on Tuesday, and I'll be out for 2.5 weeks.
Yeah,
like-
we're lucky to get this little pocket of
Yeah.
time.
No, it's just great. It worked out so good, and to be able to play on top of it, that's icing on the cake.
And
So
last
cool.
night was like so no pressure. Like, we could do whatever we want.
church was great.
We could stay on a 1 chord for 5 minutes if we felt
Just
like
groove it out.
We did.
We did. Sound check was 10 minutes, I think, and
Dude.
and everything sounded good right off the bat. It just
That's the best sound check.
Your mom came up and played bass
My mom played.
and absolutely killed it.
Pretty proud.
shout out Suze.
Shout out to Sue.
Talk about a supporting person.
Whoa.
Even for especially for me alone.
Yeah.
I told her last night. I gave her a T-shirt, and she was like, "Oh, thank you so." And I said, "Suze, like, I just appreciate you seeing me. You see me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
she sees me on another level. Like, vocally too. Like, she'll be like, Chad, tonight. Like, not last night. She didn't, because I know I wasn't quite there. But she'll be like, it's like tearing a piece of paper. It's that sound. You got that resonance. Like,
Oh.
how does she know? Like, she doesn't know about vocals, but she does know.
Yeah, she gets
She
it.
does.
Yeah.
She gets it about like music.
I used to say she's the most like non-musical person, but now I can't say that because she like literally.
Now
like,
she plays piano.
we started the
bass.
podcast and she's FaceTiming me and she's playing the bass. I'm like, I have to call you later. But she's in the shed a lot working. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's important to her. Like you said, hey, at 30, at 4, I mean, I started playing at 30, like trying to level up.
Sure.
Here's my mom's, she's a little older than us. But she's like, her goal is to have a gig next year around here. And like, I keep telling her, yeah, it's doable. Do it.
It's
She will.
I
Cliche,
mean-
never too late, but for real, it's never too late.
Yeah. And it was funny because she like came up last night, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna hold her hand, like take it to a little pocket church, and I'm like looking at her, and then like 2 bars in, she's like working the room, like
yeah.
entertaining. I'm like, she
She's
ain't looking at me.
uncomfortable.
She don't need me.
She had it because she's done that one other time with us.
Just once.
And there was another level to like, she's just right in the pocket of it.
Yeah.
Just kill it.
I didn't even, I'm sitting there playing and singing. I'm like, Susan's back here jamming.
Well, when you sent me the set list and it said Sue's next to it, I screenshotted that and sent it to our family group. I was like, hey, you're on. It says it in the thing. And then so she called me. She's like, for real? I'm like, yeah. And so that was hours before the gig. to where
Did you see where I put like let's get it on? I'd written it down here because
Yeah.
it's just getting the list, but then I put the arrow like
yes.
And you were like, "Is it cool if she starts the second song?" I'm like, "Bro, did you see the arrow?"
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
She's the best.
what did you think about last night?
Oh, dude, that's the song. I told you that was. It felt like the early Jared Mahone band days when it was me and JP and Jeff and Jared, and we had to play in Columbus those 3 hour. I mean, Jared had his blocks of original music, but then we had to do all the Peter Gabriel and all that stuff.
We need to work some of that. in.
Stevie Wonders. It was, Jared. I was
Billy Idol.
Billy Idol. So I always said Jared was if Stevie Wonder and James Taylor had a love child, and sprinkle it with some Matt Wirtz and Dave Barnes, that would be Jared Mahone.
Dude.
But it felt very much like that. So I was very much at home. It was so cool. And we just grooved stuff out.
It was fun. Those are my favorite gigs.
Till I tried to take it to church on that one song and you lost your mind.
Dude, I did, and
Like-
I not knowingly,
You set it
I
up.
set it up. I set it up, and then church came in, and the Holy Ghost took myself out of the time. I had to stop, get my stuff
funny.
together, and come back in because I was like,
So good.
duh, no wonder Flick would have did that there. Like
You said it.
I called it.
You put it on
Without-
a T, and I'm
yeah.
like, oh, I got him.
Yeah.
Here
You
it
said,
comes.
"Let's
Here
go."
comes the boom.
Yeah, I was like,
I was like,
dude, Kevin jumped right in it. He was just,
dude.
Dude.
It was beautiful, and everybody always says like, oh, it did never even play in practice, but we didn't.
Right.
It was totally flying, and me and Jesse were like talking, knowing that you're coming. We're like, bro, like we gotta show Flick what we do up here, which is basically
You
not
guys do it
not
well.
being able to prepare much, and
Yeah.
you just come together, and it's just like I hope Flick just has fun. That's what we kind of
Yeah.
said. Like, I just hope he has.
No,
a good time.
it was a 3.5, 4 hour whiskey jam. It was great.
we're lucky to have tight drummers in our community already.
Nick's
so yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah, Nick and Nate and just
That first night I met you.
yeah, he just consistent. I mean, he's
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that dude.
Yeah, tell us about the first night that we met you, because this ain't like somebody like we had people that know each other.
Oh,
it's
yeah, yeah,
literally like this is a story of musicians grinding, and like Jesse comes back into the scene after a hiatus. He's got his own story. We'll get into that probably another time.
Yeah.
But to keep showing up, and you never know what dude got drugged to a cover gig,
Bro.
and then all of a sudden start changing
Dude.
lives over here.
And knowing you, because when we're out on the road, we said it today. 9 o'clock rolls around. Time to go to the hotel.
Dude, I'm the first one in the bunk every night on the bus. Like,
Let's get in and out, and let's go to bed. That's it.
dude,
That's what
I'm aroused right now in saying that.
That's what we do.
dude. It's the best when, especially being dads and stuff, when you let go of that FOMO stage.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, no, it's not FOMO. It is getting in bed, baby.
So clutch, man.
Get that rain app on.
Get that
babe.
rain app going in the bunk.
That's right.
Night,
Hey,
sweet prince.
I stayed with you guys at Cotter's with that rain app. You guys had it up to 13.
I don't care.
Jeez.
You're welcome.
I thought I was in the
yeah.
rainforest.
Oh, yeah. Dude, and listen, I love Cotter so much.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to get into it.
Oh, my gosh.
But, like, giving me a place to sleep and coming into town.
Absolutely.
And let me, he didn't have much food in the house. I will complain about that. But
Always had coffee, though.
he did have coffee.
And some tea. He always
Yeah.
has
Dude,
tea.
no.
on-
And Tide Pods
Listen,
in a pinch
I love, that.
for clothes, not eating.
But anyways.
Cotter's got some good tunes, so check out.
Cotter
love
Hill, check him out. He's got
love him.
a brand new EP coming out here in a few months. We just finished it. It's gonna be unbelievable. So
Good dude.
Man, everybody on your all's list that you played with have great music. They really do.
they really do.
It's his list. I just get to tap
No,
into
no,
it.
not at all. I mean, we've just been really lucky to play with.
That's what I'm about
Some
to. I'm about to
talented
start
people.
using Flick's. I have his list now.
Yeah, you got the
Use
list.
it.
I'm gonna let people know. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, bro, you know.
All those people,
Do it
2 degrees of separate or 1 degree of separation.
for real. That's
great.
So funny.
Oh, so how we met
Yeah.
and how I met
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
You were there that
you
night.
You can't even include me.
No.
You didn't like my playing. He's
No,
like, oh.
I fell in love with that band. And so when I met Kristen, my now wife, she was living in Columbus, in German Village. And she was the general manager of the Avenue in Grandview. Great restaurant.
So good.
Oh my goodness. Sam was a bartender at the Avenue. Just so happens Kristen was going to be off on a Friday or Saturday night. You guys, with Sam fronting the band, Sam Axe, we're going to be playing at Park Street
Tavern.
Yeah, Park Street. So Kristen's like, I want to go down to Park Street. Sam's band's playing. Now keep in mind, I had just gotten home we were out with Brad Paisley. We had been in Boston in front of a zillion people. Like the last thing I wanted to do, like I was like just got back I was with Rain, so we were hubbing out of Cincinnati. And then I drove 2 hours up to Columbus, 2.5 hours. The last thing I wanted to do was go listen to a cover band in downtown Columbus.
Yeah.
And typically in downtown Columbus too, it's still bad. Like, hey man, didn't you play with Jared? Do you know Jared?
Yeah.
Yes, I know Jared. He's like my brother.
Yeah.
But you know, Kristen just she wouldn't let it go. We're going to Park Street. We're going to Park Street. We're going to Park Street. Cool. We're going to Park Street.
You're like, okay, honey.
Yeah. We were with Kevin and
You were
Kristen.
like, let me get my Air Force Ones on.
No, they were Jordans.
Oh, okay.
And they're actually sitting right over there too. The same pair.
Oh.
And I had a.
Yeah,
I had a.
Dad.
I was
Listen.
gonna be like, I pay attention to details. And
You
he's like,
do.
no, Jordans, bro.
If you remember, I had some black holy jeans on, a flowered shirt, like a Hawaiian shirt,
Whoa, we didn't pay
Yeah.
that much attention.
And a cute butt. I'll
And-
never forget that.
a Los Angeles Dodgers pro model hat.
That's funny.
We were there with our friends, and I come walking through the back door, like the very
Yeah.
back part of the bar, like where the food trucks hang out.
Yeah.
And you guys were playing Vultures. And I just remember looking at Kevin and going, let me get a drink. Bring 2 because I'm staying all night. These guys are crushing it.
That was a good night.
You guys were on
I remember.
point.
You were singing good too.
You were singing. Sam was singing.
That's a great crowd. I mean, that was
Oh,
I can't remember that.
Oh.
I remember the night. I remember meeting
It was
you,
nuts to
but there
butts.
was a couple Park Street times, so I can't.
yeah.
But I do remember you coming up at the end.
so I had fun that night.
Oh,
Too many whiskey sours.
At the time, this was pre moving to Kentucky, so I wasn't really into bourbon yet. Too
it's
many,
like no, the perfect amount.
Yeah.
yeah, the perfect amount of Crown and Coke that night,
There you go.
not cocaine, like Coca-Cola. And I'm like, I gotta meet this dude, this bass player, because he was straight Pino vibes. I mean, he was Pino Palladino in a Chris Stapleton Halloween costume.
Dude,
Trick or treat.
I'm so glad I taught you all that, Jay.
Thank you. Yep.
And so I come walking up, and I'm like, you know, I happen to be a musician myself. And he's looking at me like, okay, buddy.
Just trying to pack my cables.
I follow him like outside. And I'm like, hey, man, can I get your phone number? Like, I'd really love to work with you. And he's like, I'll find you on Facebook, man. And I'm like, I bet. Like, cool, man. Have a good night.
You were really nice. It was 2 a.m. and I want to go home.
I remember we talked about it right
I was
after,
like, I'm just so ready to get
where
out of here.
where you're tired, and you just never know
Sure.
who you're actually talking to, and that's kind of a little bit what we were talking about before of like how to talk to somebody, and let's get to the point.
Yeah.
And it's usually not like bragging and telling everyone.
No.
Oh,
what
no.
You were nice. I just was tired. It was a me thing where I was just like,
Oh, no.
cool,
I mean-
bro. I'll take the compliment. No, I don't want to give you my number.
I was probably
Facebook.
loud.
You were just you're flick. I didn't know you. You're
Don't
nice.
leave me hanging. You're flick.
No, like you were being sweet,
You,
but
you were flick. You
I
were
was
not.
down.
You were not quiet.
it was
That's
a
all.
it was
Never.
a 4-hour gig in front of a bunch of college kids. I was like, I'm gonna be in home by 3:30, but I
Yeah.
told you no. And then let me take over this part.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
take
absolutely.
the
I
reins.
wake up-
Dude, yeah, please.
I wake up the next day and I have a DM from you.
I'm so sorry.
I could look it up right now and I could read it, but it's like, hey man, I'm sorry, I might have been a little been too much fun last night, but you complimented my playing, and then you said I just got off with said that you played with Jared Mahone, which is funny because I called him. I was like, do you know that's Jared Mahone, cat? And you're like, yeah, but you said you just got with Rain and and want to work together and give me your number, and I was like, oh shit, I learned a lesson that night, like. Be nice to people. and,
Never
like,
judge a book by its
Yeah.
cover, by its inebriated cover.
So, but and then that was the start. And I would come to
Yeah.
Jared's studio
Yep.
and hang out with you and play. And then I brought him once and brought Kevin. And
So, and that's how I got Jared to come check you guys out, because
Right.
I'd gotten back into town, living in Columbus with Kristen. We were over at his studio working on stuff. I'd taken Swerve over there.
yeah,
You came over there.
you've been over there
You've
too.
been there.
Yeah.
And he was like, I need a female background singer that can rip. And I'm like, you have to go see my homies. And so that's how he came out that second night.
Mm-hmm.
That's so sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. And you were so kind to him, and just I think maybe that was the first time.
That's the first time I've been around him, but I
Yeah.
did have that story
Yeah.
of those, just randomly, but yeah, it was cool.
Dude. So
Man.
cool.
And I want to bring this part up too, that the fact that Flick took you under his wing, he saw something in you, wanted to
time.
play with you,
Big time.
championed you,
Yeah.
like I said in the
I
beginning.
don't know if I had to take him under my wing as much as I just had to give him the opportunity. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like, dude, you're buried in Columbus. Like there's something
Yeah.
more here, boys, for both of you guys. It was like, there's
Yeah.
I don't know that I have to shelter and protect
Well,
as much as I just got to
You
push you off the cliff.
Put me in the
Well,
room with the right people.
yeah.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
did that session, or I sat in and just met the people that I love today.
Yeah.
But
But,
that was a cool.
It's all about getting in the room. If you can get in the room and be cool and just
And for him to take the initiative, when he was trying to get plugged into Nashville, we were playing that Cameron Blackburn session. Mark Caldwell was playing bass.
yep,
He's
amazing.
incredible friend of ours. Plays for Tyler Farr, but producing that session as well.
Mhm.
And Swerve called, and he's like, when's the session start? And I gave him the dates for the session. He's like, I'm coming to your house. I'm picking you up. He goes, and I'm going to come and just sit in these sessions and just be a sponge
Mm-hmm.
and meet people and network. I mean, he brought the good basses down. Hashtag Fender.
Yeah.
Fender P.
Yeah, let's just take a moment. Jesse is a Fender connoisseur, collector.
Addict. No, I love it.
I mean,
I'm passionate.
he
about
knows
it.
more about instruments. It's
Oh,
benefited me so
absolutely.
much. I'm not even, see, Jesse can't get rid of stuff. I can get rid of stuff. So he basically just helps me make money by his education.
There you go.
And that's literally the truth. I'm
Friends
not-
helping friends.
Yeah,
But anyways,
You've sold some really cool guitars over the years.
I certainly have.
That-
And basses too.
Yeah, no.
Look up Jesse on Instagram, by the way, at Vintage Precision Bass. You'll see. It's no joke. And
No, it's
today we're doing things in I got it. Bass mint.
That's what I'm calling it. Chris Cheney, I'm stealing it from you. Sorry, bro. I mean, I don't know you, but
Where he has his mint basses.
thank you.
Hmm
Sweet.
So if Fender wants to
Yeah.
sponsor a boy,
Yeah, I'm looking for some gear to take it out on the road.
pass me up right to Jesse.
Awesome.
dude's got the goods. This
No,
is-
that's sweet.
It's like being in a Fender museum.
It really is. Anyway.
Sweet.
Just had to put that in.
Thank you.
No.
I really appreciate the plug.
That's awesome.
But I want to say this one thing of me and you being really close, and then you getting this opportunity.
Yeah.
And what it-
I'm telling Chad about you. You know what I mean? Because I'm meeting you and I'm like, you know, like I talk to him every day, and then like you and I are getting tight, and then so he's like, so how is Flick? I'm like, yeah, I love him. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's like we have such a bromance, and then I have a bromance, and then so naturally I want to take our like, I want to turn this into like I want my guys that I love to love each other. Like it, you know, it's just like,
well,
it's so cool.
Going back to what we were talking about earlier, so him and I started working together first. How did you feel?
That's what I was going to say, is how many times this can happen when your boy gets an opportunity.
Yep.
And it takes some serious regulation.
Yep.
Because if I put it on paper, I'd be like, Jesse took 10 years off. I'm older. I've been playing this whole time.
Yeah.
I put so much more time in.
Yeah.
And how does this happen? And Jesse starts playing, gets back for 2 years, and it's all of a sudden he's in Nashville doing gigs and fly dates and blah, 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 blah. And that's this thing. And we've been through it with each other on different ways.
Yeah.
But that's just something to bring to the surface to, like, if that's happening for you, you got to look at it and make sure it's not coming out in all these ways that are either one, irreparable,
Sure.
or just makes people not like, if he's getting this jealous envy vibe from me and I'm like not happy for him, for one, that's not a real friend, straight up.
Preach.
Right?
Preach.
Like, that's how you know, is
Yeah.
when something bad happens for you and you can see somebody secretly a little happy.
Yeah.
And then when something good happens for you, they're not on you're on your side.
That's-
and
yeah.
that did take moments of me being like, I don't know, maybe it's a trust in a God or spiritual, or just a thing of just like, that's not what, like, because the truth is, if I weren't a musician, like, I am 100% happy. And I think it's
Yeah.
great. And I had to find that part in me and focus on that. And knowing, especially now as times went on, like, it always trades spots. Like, everybody's like, so we have moments where
It
it's
ebbs
like,
and flows.
yeah, where it's like, dang, but it luckily, and I owe my mom for this type of self-awareness to realize some of that and then be like, yeah, but I love what's happening. And then,
Sure.
and then help him with it. Like, whatever because it's scary is, like, you get the opportunity. Great. We're all looking for the opportunity. Then it's scary as it, like, you're shaking in your boots.
I didn't know how to read numbers or anything.
Yeah.
Remember at Cotter's house, we would listen to tunes and I would chart them out and be like, does this even look right? And you're like, bro, it doesn't matter, just how you read it. But
Right.
I wanted to fast track and learn
Yeah.
everything I could. And, you know,
You did pretty well. I mean, you worked. You put the work in.
Well, and then here it is, like, I help him as a pep talker,
yeah.
buddy,
Sure.
when he's scared or whatever,
Yeah.
all the unknowns,
Yeah.
basically, that's what it is. And you've done that for me a million times, but it's that moment where you need a Flick to just say, yo, you're enough.
Calm
You
down.
got this.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're a bad mother.
Yep.
You can do this.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you do. How many times I was like, dude, whatever you do in Sam Max, you already know how to do this.
Dude, I'd get you to
Right.
come over to my house so I could play the set for
Yeah.
you before, you know, like,
Yeah, it would.
like
Oh,
I would
yeah.
rehearse it in front of him. I would go to your house.
It was after a gig late one night. He's like, I got an hour drive home still. He's
Sure.
like, can you just come down to the basement and let me play the set for you? I'm like, bro, are you serious? And I
just
come
needed
down,
it,
listen over there. I'm like, what do you mean?
dude.
Sounds great.
I just want to do well. You know what I mean? Like, in my mind, and I need my buddies to be like stamp of approval. Like, cause I'll play stuff for Jen, and most of the time I play in front of the girls and just, but whatever. But
We need each
my
other
guys,
for
yeah.
sure.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
however you got to find the humility, it's going to happen for you. So
Oh.
if you want to put it off, it might happen when you're 55 and then it's really going to hurt.
Sure.
But you got to find ways or be around people that know how to find that humility spot. So
Sure.
then you really
Well,
can, you can be useful.
And kudos to you guys, because I don't think until you get down there meaning Nashville, or New York or LA, until somebody gets find yourself in an opportunity to work in one of those cities in the industry, you don't know how eat or be eaten it is.
Yeah.
And then you finally get down there and you're like, oh crap. Like now I know. Now it's run, not walk. Like I gotta go.
Yeah,
and if I'm lacking in a certain area, that's what we working on, because you know what I mean. Like yeah, you gotta go. You gotta get it. But again, I don't. And you guys now too. We're never gonna stick our neck out for somebody who's gonna make us look bad.
Yeah,
you know
that's the key.
Yeah.
And that was part of the pressure for both of us. I've done way less things, but the Lee Bryce thing is a pretty
dude.
big
That's a huge show for you.
Yeah, it's a
huge show for Eric, and you crushed it. I mean, I've seen the videos of it.
Yeah,
and I've talked to Rex, and I've talked to Ty, and I've talked to Eric.
Well, that's another thing, is that don't think people aren't talking.
Bro.
So that's a lot of the I'm like, you stick your neck out for me, and you literally texted me and said,
dude, Sexy Rex, he gets hired for everything in Nashville. Rex Brewer that you played with,
yeah,
bro.
He's out right now with someone. I forget who.
Yeah, he's up in Canada doing some, like, that dude. First off, can play everything.
Yeah.
Can record, engineer, mix it. Shout out to Rex Brewer. Love you,
sings.
Sexy Rex.
Sings
his butt off.
Yeah. I gotta pee. Can I shut this window?
Oh, yeah.
I'm about to die.
Are you
here.
freezing?
I was literally thinking about it. I'm like, it got so cold.
All right, so when you guys are out on tour doing dates and stuff together, like what's it look like for you guys?
Well,
that's a good start. That's a great start.
Yeah, solid.
solid bass player.
Yeah.
Start there.
Well, I'll tell you. No, I think first off, we get along really well. I feel like we play really well. And we, just to like outline it, there's times like on the Sprinter or whatever, like where we don't talk to each other. And like I never feel like I want to be like, dude, just leave me alone for, because we're like this 90% of the time.
Oh yeah.
But we don't have to like chit chat sometimes too.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I like that.
We'll put ears in, or you rock cans, or and sometimes, I mean, with Kylie, we would drive.
Yeah,
and we would go up, and he would sit shoddy, and I would drive, or he would drive, and I would sit shoddy. And but to my knowledge, we've
never had a riff or anything.
we've never had not even a crossword.
We could start that today if you want.
I don't want to.
Okay. No, it's really painless with you on the road. I don't know. It's so funny. We spent so many days together this year, but it doesn't really feel like it, which is like a good thing too.
I know. What was your favorite? You got a favorite venue or story?
The first Kylie shows were cool. I remember rehearsing for that stuff. I remember rehearsal feeling really good. You give me the look like, you're like, yeah, you're good. You're ready.
I mean, I had told Kay, I'm like, because we found out that her bass player couldn't go on this like arena run. And she's like, well, we got a bass player. And I'm like, look, these are arenas. I would really like to play with someone that I've played with before and that I know I work well with. Like, these are important dates for you. Let's put our best foot forward. And she's like, that's super smart. Get your guy. And I remember calling him just because, I know you're going to shed. I know you're going to do the work.
Yeah.
Like, look cool, play cool.
Those gigs were cool.
Easy hang.
I wasn't expecting I'm sorry to say, I didn't know who Cody Johnson was. I don't know country people. I know who he is now.
You do now.
Big fan, and Easton, and all these.
You're an expert now.
I mean, literally, I wasn't raised that way, so, which maybe is like what makes me different. Blah blah blah. But yeah, when we pulled up to Tupelo, and people are unloading my stuff for me, I was like, I get used to that. But no, I remember,
which is not even actually true,
great
because Jesse don't like you to.
I don't. Yeah, honestly, I would carry my stuff more than Hands would. Kylie would just laugh at me and be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I carry my stuff. But anyways,
I've known that for a while. You try to pick up Jesse's hand. People are like, I got it.
I just remember him walking in the dressing room and going, "This dressing room is bigger than some of the places I played."
yeah. Those
Like-
then we kind of snuck around and listened to Easton's sound
And
check.
that was a cool. I won't go into all the details about that.
That was a
but-
cool moment. I remember putting it on my vision board like the year before, and you can remember this is like, I want to do, you were getting me on some bus calls and doing stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
I want to do fly dates. I want to play an arena. I want to play some things that are, some theaters. There was I had a checklist in my head, and that one came fast, and I was like,
His first proper Nashville gig was in front of 15,000 people in an arena, and so I love when I play an arena. I'm a sports junkie, anyways, so I love, a good arena, and I love seeing it from all angles. And you got a badge, so you can go wherever you want. And I just told him let's take a walk, and we go. Easton Corbin's checking. Shout out to my boy Greg Lohman. Love you, dude. We go and sit on the top row all the way in the highest corner of the arena, and we're listening to them sound check their individual instruments. Just, if you know Jesse's story, Jesse's family story, talking about Billy, just a really cool moment. And, he's like, Billy and I always wanted to do this together, play rooms like this together. And, I just kind of looked at him. I'm like, well, tonight we don't play for us. We play for Billy.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to go out
that's fun. We had fun.
and crush it.
Yeah.
Those crowds were
into it.
yeah.
Um,
Cody Johnson has fans.
oh,
Real
real country music.
Yeah,
fans.
where they're
Yeah.
those were special gigs.
And they were super down with Kylie's.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she is the queen of Texas. Make no mistake about it. Kylie is.
Yeah,
She's incredible. I mean, she's a wonderful artist.
Dude, I texted Jesse the other day. I'm like, dude, did you see this Kylie post singing some Dolly for
She
Dolly's
is-
birthday? I'm like, and I know it's just the iPhone sitting there. It's not.
Yeah, that girl has a gift.
Yeah. She's sweet. I'm lucky that you
Yeah.
put me in front of her, and I'm lucky that she flies me from Columbus and lets me do this thing.
Yeah,
Not being a Nashville cat.
that whole camp's just they were nothing but good to me. So
Yeah, it's sweet.
um,
But those were some fun gigs. We ended this year with playing some theater stuff with Jamie Johnson, those rooms were beautiful.
I mean, $1 million room, multi-million-dollar
that
rooms.
one,
Midland.
Buddy Holly.
Buddy
that,
Holly.
That was like a $20 million facility, and when you walk in and it's straight up,
Yeah.
cool.
The thing I hate about a good theater like that though is when it fills up with people and the lights come on, you can only see 10 rows out,
Yeah, true.
and you're like, I know how beautiful this room is, and I just want to look at everybody while I'm playing, and you can't see anything.
Yeah.
Cool. It's so cool,
Um,
dude. But we literally drove to Washington State and back. Well, no, we drove to Arizona and back, and Washington State.
bro, Arizona, we drove to Fresno.
Yeah, we drove to. Dude, that's such
We
a
played
blur.
Fresno State's basketball arena, and it played Mesa, Arizona, the big amphitheater out there
Yeah.
with Kojo.
We played a bunch of shows on the way back.
So what about? I hear about the high times.
Yeah.
What's the hidden
I mean,
behind the curtain, the hard time? What's
Yeah,
hard
sure.
about?
I miss my kids and Jen. I mean, it was in Oregon. I looked at him. I was like, dude, this is lame. I'm done. Kylie could have got me a ticket.
We
back
were
home.
on the golf course in Sisters, Oregon.
Yeah,
Beautiful golf course.
yeah, that's sweet.
Highly recommend. Playing golf out there. And he looked at me and he's like, I just want to go home.
Yeah,
Mm.
mentally, we're in Oregon, and I know that we got to drive across the U.S. down south. The routing, I was just like, oh, I'm the furthest point away from home right now. It was.
Yeah. It's
And then the next day, I remember talking to you by the hot tub, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry for being a crybaby." And he was like, "No, that's valid. You're allowed to, like me like crybabying a little bit, got it out of my system, and he was just like, we got this, let's go. And
the great part about being on the road with him is like, if you're down, like, and I think we do this for each other, like if we're down, we're like, hey man, I'm struggling with this, can I talk about it? Or hey, I need to bitch about this, like something went sideways at a show, or I'm not happy with somebody in the band or whatever. We'll ping stuff off of each other and resolve it together.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's great to have a partner in crime like that.
It's healthy
on the road.
Yeah.
It's super healthy. And it doesn't even have to be about music. It can be about like stuff going on at home.
Yeah.
It just makes you a better, a higher capacity with painful and hard stuff.
Absolutely.
Like when you get to bounce it off somebody that's a little more reasonable in the given moment, or like without your story, that what you've been through, like, you know, if you were 21 at that moment, are you going to have that same response?
Oh, not at all.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you got to have.
Yeah.
Ah, man. I hate to just be like the same cliche of like, you know, your experiences become like so important to who, you know, your next version of yourself. But like, man, we need each other in those moments of like,
for sure.
I've been there. That, bro, you say you're not an empath. Dude, that's empathy.
I mean,
that's there. It's there. It's just built in.
You know who I'm not an empath for?
The devil.
Well, him. And remember when we went to Fresno and we had took that certain member of the band who was a newbie. It was a call from the bullpen, kind of last second.
I heard this story.
Oh
tough.
boy,
I won't even say he could play.
Dude could straight saw. Dude was a bad man on fiddle. But holy crap.
Yeah.
You're talking about being on a really long road trip. Just travel with people you love. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Before I hit the road, I remember you said something to like Joe. Joe's awesome. And you were just like, oh, Jesse, we got to take Jesse through the ropes a little bit. He's, you know, and he said, nah, the road humbles all. And that's the truth. In these Instagram posts and like, you know, playing, you know, that looks sweet. But when it takes you 40 some hours to drive to that gig, to that 25-minute gig.
Yeah, exactly.
It's humbling.
Or that less than $200 gig.
Sure.
Think about them apples.
Yeah.
You got to love it. And you know what? We would just freaking tear it up.
We
tear it up.
It's like all that pent up.
It
Like,
was on.
yeah.
It's
gotta be.
On.
It's gotta be. Yeah.
yeah. We never, honestly, there wasn't too many gigs that we were like, you know.
No.
It's like maybe 2 in my head. But
yeah. And the funniest thing is him and I have seen, or he and I should say, we've played in the biggest arenas, and then we've played in bars where there were 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And we brought it the same
Yeah.
every single time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You want to like, yeah, I just want to represent myself and then like come out swinging for the artist.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're not going to war for your artist, what's the point?
And like, I'll just say it on record. Kylie's got some tunes.
Oh.
Kylie can sing her butt off.
Uh,
And she, you know, like,
she's great.
I want Kylie to go all the way.
Mm-hmm.
For real. You know what I mean?
And I think as an artist, you have to have people in your band that have that mindset.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I'm only committing to a few things. And like, I'm only committing to a few friends for things. And that's like you two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the small circle of people.
Sure.
But like, if I'm gonna be out doing this and being away from my family, you know, this shit's gotta matter.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of things that come with being a professional, or wanting to be a professional.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
You know, I want to be. I've said this before to you, and I want to be a pro bass player. I want to be the baddest dude but I want to be a pro dad. I want to be a pro husband, pro son, friend. Like,
Hallelujah.
and I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm pro
I
at
don't know.
buying shit on eBay. I can tell you that.
But I don't know about that. You've been a pretty good one to me.
But it's tough, dude. That
You've been a pretty good dad to me, for sure.
dad. No, man, it's so hard. And
that's funny because like on the road together, like that's hotel room talk right there. Like when we're winding down, we're back at the hotel. It's late. We're ready to go to bed. Like I can get religious sometime and start diving in. Like, and he is more spiritual like that. Like, bro, you being the best husband you can be. You being that dude. I see him. I've never seen a guy that every time the FaceTime lights up on his phone, he's picking up. It doesn't matter where he is. It doesn't matter what time it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he genuinely cares about his wife, his kids, his mom, you know,
Bear.
Jazz,
Yeah.
Bear, baby Bear.
Yeah.
When
You call me. I mean,
You?
I ignore your calls a little bit, but
nah, you check in on us on
no,
the road.
it's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And that matters, dude,
it
because
does.
sometimes we need that shot in the arm.
Yeah,
Sometimes we're tired,
for sure.
you know, and you're like, get your butt out. We got to get your butt out there all the time.
Yeah, I always like tell Jeff, like send me something like
I know.
that you wouldn't post.
Yeah.
You know, like
I need to do better. It's
you
nice
know, like
when people do
it's
that.
totally. You don't think about how it might come across when it's your boy. You're like, dude, look at this. You know what I mean?
He's a pro at it. When people are like, "How's it going?" I'm like, "Follow Chris Flick to see what I'm doing on the
You know
road."
what? Here's my approach to social media. It's not for other people.
I know.
It is for when something happens to me, my kids have that in their phone, and they're like, my dad did some cool stuff.
Yeah, my dad's played the Aubrey 3 times, going on 4.
That's like
That's
that is a
Freaking cool,
because we don't have
Yo,
photo albums.
hold on,
anymore.
we need a moment of silence after
dude.
that.
When I met you, you talked about that being like the Holy Grail gig for you.
It's the Super Bowl.
And since I've hung up, been around you, yeah, you're going on your 4th time, and we've been playing together for 2 years, 3 years. We've known each other for 3, but dude, that's
What's the space and time that you've played the Opry 3 times? Like in 1 year?
14 months.
14 months.
Yeah, he played January
13 months, I
1st
guess, yeah.
last year, the first day.
13 months. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I get to live vicariously through you and you posting about it and being like,
Dude, it is so cool.
Dude,
it is.
I'm-
And there's a lot of young kids who play it in Nashville, and they're just like, yeah, it's the Opry, whatever. Like,
I want to play there. I want to play the Ryman. I got some
Yeah.
on my checklist, and this
and
dude.
I want to just grab them by the shoulders and be like, you don't understand. Like, you are so fortunate to be able to step on that stage.
mm-hmm.
It's the Super Bowl.
Mm.
Well, it's probably the World Series. The Ryman is probably the Super Bowl. But I love everything about it.
It's so sweet.
Yeah, I love everything about it.
That's
I get
awesome.
made fun of by people because I love it so much.
I think it's. I want to play it. I want you to play it.
Yeah.
I want my
Yeah.
kids to play it.
I want
that's-
every person that I care about to get to play it
Yeah.
because
That's
it's that special.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if people hate on it, it's because they've never done it before.
That's beautiful that you hold that reverence for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I hope they get the chance.
Keep stepping. You never
Just
know.
keep working.
You never know
Never know.
when somebody will stumble in a bar
Yeah.
with their
Or give up and don't
significant-
play it, and I'll just keep playing it. So
Right.
you can do that too. I don't give a rip.
Hashtag stay humble.
Just
Yeah.
a hashtag be humble.
No, man.
Always be humble and kind.
Yeah.
Dude.
So, are you guys good with wrapping it up?
Yeah, man. Is there anything else you want to know, or
Dude, I mean, we can just do this again and again as
So
much as
true.
we want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I sincerely appreciate your openness, your willingness. This is like beyond what I could
Nah, it's been a pleasure.
expect. Like I would have prepared myself for getting a little teary eyed if I thought that was gonna happen. I was like, I'm blinking a lot. Like
Somebody cutting onions in here.
and then Flick's just looking at me right now. I'm like,
dude.
So, and of course I got me and you, Jesse, got so much history and appreciation that we both know that we have for each other, and we're here in Jesse's basement,
M-I-N-T.
just like his studio, his collector's dungeon.
Yeah, I have a really nice wife that lets me.
Jenny's awesome, man.
Yeah, but
Jenny's great.
no, but I'm just glad because I'm kind of in the middle of you two, like literally right now. But like, it's just cool that my friends are friends. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh my
like,
gosh, yeah.
This is like, last night was my favorite gig I've done. You know what I mean? For real, more than the arenas. Like that's the.
Dang, that's bold.
That is bold.
No, but you know what I mean?
On a
like,
checkerboard floor in,
Yeah,
in a VFW bar.
Yeah,
like
those are the
it's freaking
gigs that
awesome.
matter.
That's right.
Like that's the stuff. Like fun music should be fun. That's fun. I could do that gig until the day I die.
Oh yeah, I mean,
with my kids out there, you know, like that's the gig.
that's something my buddy Matt. He's the president of Handshake Drums. They make my drums for me. Incredible company out of Cincinnati. He came up last night and he texted me when we were done. When he was leaving, he was like, "Holy crap, you guys had fun." And he's like, "Sounded great. Love you, pal."
That's what's up.
Yeah, like people are looking at us and they're like, "You're having fun. We're doing it right."
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Well, take us out, Flick. Give us that Empathy Jam song.
Empathy is my jam. Empathy is my jam. Empathy is my jam, 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 jam.
Hell yeah.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening. We have a request for you. Please make sure to follow Empathy Jam on whatever app you are listening on. This is so important in helping us share our passion for empathy. If you would like to receive empathy and/or to share your story with us, our email is hello@empathyjampodcast.com.
Empathy is my jam, 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 jam.